And today I just have a quick, short and sweet story and topic. And that topic is you can't cheat life. Can I get a like on that one? You can't cheat life. And a subtitle would be telling the truth, honesty, right? Honesty, even in situations where you're dealing with other people. And the best practice in any situation is honesty. And this is something we all can work on. Can I get an amen? Right? There are situations where telling the truth, I heard a quote that says, when you tell the truth, the best thing about it is that you don't have to remember anything. Right? When you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. When you lie, when you're not honest, when you make up a story, and even if you justify it in your mind as a white lie, right? A little tiny white lie turns into a bigger lie. And I heard somebody say a half lie is a half truth is a whole lie, right? And I agree, right? And so I just want to kind of shed some light on honesty, right? It was Abraham Lincoln who said, honesty is the first chapter in the book of wisdom. Being honest, doing the right thing, right? Integrity. I've always talked about integrity. Integrity is, what do you do when they're not watching? What are you doing when they're not listening? So many leaders and politicians, right? We know their public face, but if you get to know their private face, and many of us are misled, right? Because of this idea of honesty and truth and integrity and character, right? And you got to sweep around our own front door before we try to sweep around others. So we've all got to admit, to this issue here. But honesty, character, integrity. And I want to tell you a quick story, right, of these four college students. These four college students that spent their weekend partying, living it up. They did a little bit of everything, but they failed to prepare for their test the next morning. Instead, they decided to party away, be irresponsible. How many people know lying and being dishonest? Usually it comes from because we're irresponsible, or we didn't take care of business, and then so we have to go lie about something, or we fall here and now we got to keep lying, right, to keep it up. And so that's what they did. The next morning they concocted this plan, right, to get out of taking the test. And this was a big test for their major, right? And so they said, this is what we'll do. We'll cover ourselves with dirt and mud, and we're going to go to the dean's office, and we're going to tell them that we were at a wedding, and on the way back from the wedding, the tire of the car we caught a flat, and we had to push this car all the way back to the campus, and that's why we're so muddy and exhausted, and we're just in no position to take this test. And that's what they did. They went to the dean's office and they told that lie. And the dean listened to them. The dean, having a lot of wisdom, listened, took it in and said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll let you guys take the test in 3 days. So report back to my office. So here are the four college dudes. They get up, they're high-fiving each other like, we got past this. Yes, now we can really study, try to be responsible now, try to take it back, try to do the right thing now. And that's what they did. And they reported, let's say it was Thursday, they reported 3 days later to the dean's office. And the dean put them in 4 separate rooms. And he administered the test. This was a test, worth 100 points, something like that, 100 questions or whatever. Except on their test, they noticed it was only 2 questions. The first question was, what is your name? And it had a parenthesis, and it said, this is worth 1 point. And then the second question, the only remaining question on the test, it said, which tire burst? And in parentheses, it said, this is worth 99 points. And remember, they're separated in other rooms, and you can finish the story, right? Every one of them failed that test, right? Because they were not truthful. And how many of us find ourselves in very similar situations, when it comes time to be honest about something, when it comes time to take the high road, and instead we try to take the shortcut, right? Or where there's the long road to take of hard work, of dedication, of patience, right? Of growth, right? And there's this shortcut over here that we're tempted to take, right? That could get us the result. Young people, you know, there's the high road, there's a career-minded path, there's the hard work and dedication, and so many of us succumb to a life of otherwise, right? For fast money, quick this, quick that, right? You know, when it comes time to tell somebody the truth, like why you can be a part of something, why you can't be a part of something, we make up, you know, stories in our heads instead of just telling them the truth, right? Just speak the truth. And what I learned about the truth is that when you speak the truth from the heart, the other party won't be mad. They'll respect you. They'll understand. And you don't have to keep up that story. You don't have to remember what you said. If you just can't go to the party and you don't want to go to the party, tell them you don't want to go to the party. Don't say, oh, well, what happened is I got to be over at, you know, and then you done forgot the story a week or two later. And there you are in a snowball effect. And that's what it is. It's a snowball effect. And that happens with any wrongdoing, not just lying, not just cheating, not just the honesty, but in anything, right? You do one little thing and then you're tempted to do a bigger thing, and then sooner or later you find yourself full in something that you turn around and think that you would have never been that person. So this video, short and sweet, but my message is you can't cheat life. I've talked about this before. I said we get out what we put in. Whether you call it karma, whether you call it sowing and reaping, whether you call it law of cause and effect, reciprocity, however you call it. You know, grandma would say it like this. He said, what's done in the dark is going to come to the light, right? I heard another quote that says there are three things that cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth, right? Can I get a like? And I also learned that mistakes are forgivable as long as you have the courage to admit them, right? Mistakes, we all err, right? It says a just man falleth 7 times, but gets back up again, right? And the truth, you got it right, the truth will set you free. So remember integrity, honesty, right? And it takes courage. It takes courage, even for some of the smallest of things. It takes courage to be an honest person. Now, that is not a license to be a mean person, right? When somebody says, I'm brutally honest, you know, like Simon Cowell on American Idol, or, you know, everybody knows a brutally honest person. That is not a license to be mean. It's not a license to be inconsiderate. It's not a license to not be sensitive of other people's feelings and emotions. But honesty is a virtue, and honesty is usually and always the best practice in every situation. I want to quote Michelle Obama, First Lady. I know they're on their way out, but she says in one of her last speeches, she said, we learned about honesty and integrity, that the truth matters, that you don't take shortcuts or play by your own set of rules, and success doesn't count unless you earn it fair and square. And that's Michelle Obama, right? Truthfulness is the main element of character, right? And Ian says, simply let your yes be yes and your no be no, right? There's no room for maybe. Yeah, there's no room for iffiness, right? Even God says, be hot or cold. He says, lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. Nobody likes lukewarm, right? Nobody likes a liar. Nobody likes someone who straddles the fence, plays both sides of the game, right? You know people like that are drama queens and kings and love conflict and love to play both sides. And when we talk about wanting success in our lives, and we talk about wanting prosperity and blessings in our lives, we got to take inventory of all these things, right? What are the fruit of the Spirit? We got to take inventory of how we're doing in all of these areas of life, because we can't ask for a blessing over here, but we still got this issue over here, because you can't cheat life, and you get back what you put in, and it's all a perfect equation. You've heard me talk about that before. So I want you to remember, in closing, I'm not going to be long today, I want you to remember those 4 college students, and whenever you're faced with a test of life, but when we're tempted to cheat, when we're tempted to cut corners, when even at the job we're tempted to go along with a group that we know are not doing the right things, we're willing to go along with the crowd when we know this is not the best and that this is not the thing of integrity to do, just remember those 4 college students. It's always going to be found out. You can lie this time, you can cheat this time, you can cut corners this time, but guess what? Life is the dean. God is the dean, the master dean. And let me tell you, when he gives you a test, it's going to be way worse than the test that we talked about today. So let's pass the test of life, the little tests of life, the little quizzes, the little every day we're faced with a decision of integrity, right? Around the water cooler, right? You're the entertainer. And one thing about it is when people know you're a person of integrity, they won't bring you the mess. They won't bring you the drama. You won't find yourselves in situations like that where you have to do something dishonest or be dishonest, right? And when you're an honest person, you attract honest people. I believe birds of a feather flock together, right? I'm not just talking about big life moments. I'm not talking about really big things, although those things are very important. I'm talking about the smallest of things that we do, right? The next time you have an opportunity to provide an excuse for something, okay? Something that you can't do, maybe something you don't want to do, you're tired, and a coworker, family member, friend wants you to do something, go somewhere, do something, I want you to just reply, I would love to go, I would love to be a part, I would love to participate, but I'm just not feeling too good and I'm going to take this opportunity to rest. I love you. I'm telling you, it's that simple, and I'm preaching to myself. But it's that simple, right? How many of us, let's be honest, how many of us come up with a story or you know what, and many of us are good at this. Honest people are really good at this, right? But you know, it's as simple as that. And that scenario is going to hit you sooner than later, right? And just be honest with it. Because then when that same person say you tell a white lie and you say you got to be somewhere or you're doing something and that person asks you about that event or whatever you had to do that you told them, now you got to tell another lie to keep that lie going. That's why they say the best part of telling the truth is you don't have to remember because the truth is the truth, right?